Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is Plami, and in this episode of Radio I'm gonna be finishing off my reaction to Ateez's recent album Zero Fever Part 2. In this one, as you can see by the title, we're gonna be checking out the last two songs of this album, which are Celebrate and Take Me Home, the English version. And yes, I know there is another song in the album, but that one is a remix, and I personally don't really care for remixes. I never have, and I always end up not liking the remixes, so I feel like there's not really a point for me to check it out. I doubt it's gonna be better than the actual title track, so yeah, I don't know. But I am pretty excited to check out the next song because I honestly have no idea what it's going to be. With a title like this, I'm expecting some very hype or energetic kind of song, which would be great to top off the album with another banger song that I'm going to be adding to my playlist and listening to all the time. But who knows whether that's going to be the case. So without further ado, let's get into it in 3, 2, 1.
I can feel this love, the greatest love. You can feel this too. We will make this love together.
I guess not. Okay, I'm definitely getting some retro vibes from this album as a whole. The last song was very retro, especially towards the end. And this one right off the bat sounds like very old school. But I feel like I'm pretty much gonna feel the way I felt about Time of Love. It's good for what it is, but I'm not really gonna listen to it. And yeah, this song, similarly again to Time of Love, feels very reminiscent of the kinds of B-sides you would get from most K-pop groups, so yeah. I mean, I don't hate it, don't get me wrong. I might be critical of it and not really be super in love with it, but I don't hate it. I just feel like the song in the last album, which was Zero Forever Part 1, all of them ended up appealing to me and I really like them, while in this one I pretty much only like and will be listening to 2 of the songs of the album. But I guess this one might have hit a higher high than the other one, so it's not all bad. Okay, I don't really have much to say about this song. I don't hate it, I just don't. But it's just not really a song for me. It's not the kind of song that appeals to me. I don't really enjoy it because it's kind of slow and it feels like a filler song for an album, if I gotta be honest. That doesn't mean that it's a bad song and you're free to enjoy it, but for me, it just feels like the kind of song that groups add into an album because they just wanted to add one more song, you know? Again, it doesn't mean that it's bad, but I personally don't like it. For what it is, I think it's still pretty good of a song, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't really care about this song too much. I honestly care about it even less than Time of Love, but I don't know. I am a little disappointed that with a name like this, it wasn't another hype banger. It's a shame that the only song in the album and the one song that I will be listening to the most out of this album, excluding the title track, was literally the first song. At the very least, I would have preferred if it was kept for the last, so I was really we ended up leaving this on a banger rather than on a English version, you know. But it's still not a bad song, so I'm going to give it an 8.3 out of 10, which, yeah, it is lower than the other ones, but that's how I feel about it. So yeah, I guess let's get into the English version of Take Me Home now to see whether it's gonna be better than the Korean one and whether it's gonna be this version of the song that I listen to or the Korean one whenever after the reactions, because in cases for other Korean and English versions released at the same time, I've honestly ended up listening to Stray Kids' Levanter English version much more than the Korean one. Same for their Japanese song Slum, which also has an English version which is much better. Which the Japanese version was still already great, but I love the English version. And another group like COC who released Helicopter with a Korean and an English version. And I personally think the English version actually is better, weirdly enough. But yeah, I don't know. Without further ado, I guess let's get into it and find out in 3, 2, 1.
Inside the dark, where I'm suffocating deeper, I'm just falling down. Deeper, I'm falling down. Dark in every way, I can't even choose my way around.
Okay, so far it's actually pretty good. Although I definitely think their inflection with English can be worked on a little bit, but also the bar I have for them is way too high because of groups like Stray Kids who nail the English inflection perfectly. So much for an English version. They still had Mingi rap in Korean. You know, it's funny. They could give them rap in Japanese, but they can't have them rap in English? Really? And Honjuk is gonna rap in Korean as well, really? Yeah, that's so much for an English version. Honestly, the singing English lines are actually pretty dope. But the fact that the rapping is in Korean definitely drags the song down for me. A little bit. I still like the singing in English. I think Jungho might have the best inflection out of all of them. Also, some of their English lyrics do not make grammatical sense at all. But that's also true for their Korean songs. So I'm not gonna judge them too much. I don't really care too much. Oh my god, this is such a good song. Oh, this is such a unique song. It's definitely one of my favorite Ateez songs, and it's one of the most different, if not the most different for them, if I gotta be honest. But yeah, again, for this one, I'm also not gonna be listening to a second time, so yeah, sorry about that if you were expecting me to, but I don't really feel like there's much to be gained by listening to it a second time, because I don't know, like, I do believe that the English parts of this song, where they actually sing in English, definitely amplified my love for the song even more. But I honestly don't know whether I'm gonna be really listening to this song, because the rappers didn't end up rapping in English, which kind of destroys the whole point of having an English version, if you ask me, if you're not gonna have the whole song in English. Because that's barely different from your typical K-pop song, which is mostly in Korean but has a little English. Well, in this case, it's mostly in English but has a little Korean. I don't know. It feels like the opposite of a K-pop song in a way, you know? And it just feels incomplete with them rapping in Korean but the rest singing in English. And I understand it's probably because it might have been hard for the rappers to rap in English, but aren't they gonna be having a Japanese comeback or debut soon? And I'm pretty sure they've had have they had Japanese releases? I think they have. They must have, right? I don't remember, honestly. I can't tell for sure, but I assume they have, because they must have. Because they've been a group for like 3 years at this point. They must have debuted in Japan. But I just can't really remember for sure. But if they can rap in Japanese, why is it a problem to rap in English? It's, in both cases, it's learning a new language, or at least doing an activity in a different language, and I would say English is a little easier to learn than Japanese, because in today's world people are much more, I don't know, people are much more shown English than they are other languages, which is why people from around the world all know English. But yeah, because of that reason, this song is going to be rated a little bit lower, even though I kind of feel the emotion of this song a little bit more than the Korean version, for obvious reasons, because I actually understand the lyrics. But still, it's going to be a tad bit lower than the Korean version, which I rated a 10 out of 10 if you didn't watch the video. And if you didn't watch the video, why the hell are you watching this one? Check out the first reaction. But for this one, I'm going to give it a 9.8 out of 10, which is still a really high score, but I'm just bothered by the fact that they didn't have them rapping in English. It's just, I don't understand why. So if you know why, if they have explained why, please comment it down below, because I want to know, you know? But yeah, overall for this album, as I said, I have less songs from this album that I'm actually going to be adding to my playlist and will be listening to. Basically being only Take Me Home, the Korean version, and the Leaders, compared to all the songs from the Zero Fever Part 1 album, which pretty much every single song of that album I freaking loved. But I guess in a certain sense, in this album, the songs that I actually like, which is the Leaders and Take Me Home, kind of ended up being higher in terms of how much I love them than some of those other songs. I don't know. I feel like the Leaders and Take Me Home are much more unique and much more interesting than those, so they kind of hit a higher level of quality for me. But still, I'm overall satisfied, but I was hoping for more songs that I would actually enjoy, but it's not a big deal. Not every song has to appeal to me, and I'm satisfied with this album. 3 songs from one album is still plenty of songs to add to my playlist, so there's not too much to complain. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. Also, check out the description to my Twitter if you want to follow me there, and to my Wattpad where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you don't enjoy my stories or you simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to Patreon where you can pledge support and help get the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think that's pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!